All right, guys, this is my fourth attempt at recording this video, but I wanted to make sure I got it out. I was this close to just not doing it. But welcome back, House of Five family. And if you are new here, welcome to our house. We are so glad that you are here. I am Wendy, and I am one half of the House of Five podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about how we were able to get rid of $110,000 worth of consumer debt using a hybrid of the debt snowball method. Before we dive into that, though, I want to just give you a little bit of background so you kind of know where we started, because maybe you're feeling as hopeless as we did about your debt. Back in 2016, we had about $1 million in debt. We had about $1 million in debt. Seriously, $1 million. Um, We had all kinds of debt. We had mortgage, we had car payments, we had credit card payments, we had student loans, we had taxes. You name it, we had it. We were in a very desperate and hopeless situation. And me in particularly, where I was at is that I was burnt out in my career as a criminal defense attorney, and I wanted very, very badly to close my practice. I had been practicing for 16 years and I was just burnt out emotionally, psychologically, and we had just adopted 4 little boys, and our house exploded. We went from having, being a 4-person household to an 8-person household in a very short period of time. And when we got the boys, they were under the ages of 3.5. 3 of them were infants in diapers, and then Aiden was 3.5. So our life was chaos, but I couldn't quit because we needed my income to support our household. I was the breadwinner at the time, and we could not survive on just Curtis's salary. It was an impossibility. So I felt very stuck and I didn't know what to do. And I felt very hopeless and helpless. And it was because of that, just feeling of not knowing what to do, that I turned to the internet, because what else do? We turn to the internet, right? So I got on the internet and I just started doing searches. And at the time I was looking for, how to make money online and, how to, create an at-home business so I could work remotely. And I don't know how it happened, but I stumbled upon the Mad Fientist, who is in the FIRE community, which is Financial Independence, Retire Early. And what blew my mind when I found his website was that I learned that there were people out there working normal jobs with normal incomes, leading very happy lives, that were saving 50% of their income. And the thing for me that kind of hit me in the gut was there were people who were saving that much money and still living whole and fulfilled lives. There was no reason that we couldn't find a way to do that too. And so because of that light bulb moment, it lit a fire under our feet that we needed to make some changes. So the first thing that we did was we took a deep dive into our finances. We analyzed our bank statements and we took a look at every single expense. And of every single expense, we asked the question, can I eliminate this or can I reduce it? Once we had eliminated those items out of our budget, we then started attacking the debt. And the first thing that we did, I'm just going to call it a blitz. I took the debt that had a large monthly payment that I knew that if we paid on it quickly, we could have it done in 1 to 2 months. So we had a couple of those. The one in particular that I'm thinking of was a tax bill from Arizona, and it was $1,000 a month payment. And my camera's moving, and I knew that if I paid that off quickly, that I would then give my budget $1,000 back a month, which I could then put towards everything else and really gain some momentum. That was the first thing that I did. The next thing I did was the debt snowball method. And if you're unfamiliar with the debt snowball method, what that is you take your debts in order of balance, putting your smallest to your largest in order. And then you start paying off the one with the lowest balance first. The kind of psychology behind that is that even though it doesn't make the most sense numbers wise, which we'll talk about in a second, it helps gain the momentum and get you excited and you see progress quickly, which is important because this can be a very emotionally draining experience, paying off debt. But it's also rewarding when you see these wins. So that was the next thing that we did. We did that for quite a while until we got through some of our smaller debts. And then once we hit the debts that were maybe a few $1,000s or more, we switched to the debt avalanche method. And the reason for that is that the debt avalanche method is the one that makes the most financial sense if we're talking purely numbers. And the reason for that is you're paying things off from highest interest rate to least. So for instance, if you had a credit card that was at 30% interest and you paid $100, $30 of that is going to interest and 70 would be to principal. And so less of your money is working for you. So you want to get rid of those as quickly as possible so that your money works for you more quickly. And that's the debt avalanche method. So first we did this blitz, then we did the debt snowball method, and then we switched over to the debt avalanche method. The final thing that we did was we did something very unconventional, and we made a decision that we were going to liquidate our only asset that we had, which was our house, and we were going to put some of those proceeds to our debt. And I'm going to link below a guest post that I recently did on Get Rich Slowly, which kind of walks you through how we arrived at that decision and what that one single decision did for us and why it was the best one financial decision that we ever made in our lives. But you can read about that more down below. But we sold our house. We had purchased the home a few years prior. We purchased it at exactly the right time. It was a foreclosure, so we got it for a really good price. And then we did a whole lot of improvement on the home, a lot of cosmetic stuff and DIY stuff, and completely transformed the house. And so we had gained a significant amount of equity very, very quickly. And so it was our biggest move that we knew that we could make that would give us the biggest bang for our buck. And allow us to do not only paying off the consumer debt, but a couple of other things, which I'll link to a couple of those articles below as well. But at that time, we still had about $30,000 to $35,000 of consumer debt left. And so we sold the house and we were able to just eliminate the rest of it. So by employing those 4 strategies, we were able to eliminate $110,000 worth of debt in about 2.5 years. And your debt may not be that significant, and you may not have had the incomes that we had, and that's not what matters. What matters is for your situation, whatever method you choose or combination of methods that you choose to pay off your debt, the 2 things that matter more than anything are persistency, and consistency. Doing it every single month and just keeping at it. You do those 2 things and you will be debt free. And if you need some help, you are tired of living paycheck to paycheck, you want to get out of debt, you want to have financial independence at some point in your future, we're here to help you. And that's what our podcast is for. That's what these videos are for. But we also have some resources for you. We have our new book. It's a workbook. It's a 130-page bound workbook that has journal pages in it, has worksheets for you to do, also has the steps to employ to get your financial house in order. I also did a video about getting your financial house in order. That's down below. And if you want to hear some of the really awesome things that we have done since paying off that debt, you can check out our real estate investing video that we are finally real estate investors. And I'll link those at the end of this as well. We hope that this has been helpful for you. If you like this video, please subscribe and join our Facebook group. We would love to have you so that we can connect with you and so that we can help support you on this journey and answer any questions and just lock arms with you, because we know this is hard and we want to be there for you. All right, everybody. Take care. Today we're going to be talking about how Curtis and I were able to get rid of $110,000 of our Today Curtis and I are going to be talking about no, we're not, because Curtis is not here. What's up, James?
What is happening?
What are you doing over there? What kind of rash decisions are you making?
Oh my gosh, Deb. Okay, so my contribution to my 403B was 5%. And I was like, this year I'm going all in. 20%.
What? That is awesome.
That is rash.
You know what?
I should be working my way up because right now, 5% is $140. 20%. No. That's like $500.
It won't be $500 out of your check though, because it'll all be before taxes, so it won't really be $500. It'll probably be more like three something. I know. It is scary. But it's kind of like, I forget what they call it. I think they call it I forget, but it's the principle of however much time you have allotted to do something, you will use all of that time. And it's kind of the same thing with your money. Whatever money you have, you are going to use it all. So that's why saving off the top makes more sense than saving off of what's left over, because now you're going to do everything you can to make your budget work with what you have. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And guess what? If in a couple months, you just can't make it work, scale it back. But I think you can do it. I think you're going to do great. I think you're going to make it work.
Okay. I was like, oh my gosh, this is rad. I put in 20 and I was like,
It's gonna be great. You're gonna do great. We've done that with Curtis's now a couple of times, and each time it's like, oh, I don't know, are we gonna be able to do it? But so far so good. We've made it work.
Okay. Well, I guess it wasn't as rash as I thought, Jane.
No.
I was having a full-on panic attack.
No, don't have a panic attack. It's gonna be okay.